was a young man, I had a grandfather in Colorado who was in his late 80s, and we used to go out and visit him and climb mountains. He lived to be 97 years old and never slowed down for that whole time. So when we started talking about doing this project, we were talking about how many more people are hitting their 90s now. Back then, it was a very unusual thing for a person to live to that age, and certainly to live to that age and be up climbing mountains.
I was attracted to this story because I like the challenge of trying to make someone's portrait, and specifically trying to capture some of their personality in a portrait. It's a really intimate relationship, and you're like this stranger that has just walked into their life and said, I'm going to take your image from you. Before I ever took my camera in, I called him up and said, hey, can I come over and just chat with you? And I want to get to know you a little bit, and I want you to get to know me a little bit before we do this.
When we started going out and doing interviews with people, I was stunned at how alive they are. When they weren't working after they retired, they always found ways to be engaged with the world, to be volunteers, to do things with other people. One of the men I interviewed, John Olshesky, is into physical fitness, and he took up jogging at the age of 62.
One of my favorite things is on the portrait of Lois Poinier. So she, when she was a younger woman, sang in some nightclubs in New York City. I found out from her that she was very comfortable on stage and very comfortable singing. So I called over to the Guard and asked if we could get Lois up on stage and then actually photograph her singing, because that was a significant connection to something that was special to her in life, and she continues to sing.
Their level of engagement with the world seems to be the one constant after I've interviewed so many of them now. The other constant is their positive attitude about life. Most of these people have buried children, husbands, wives, even grandchildren in some cases. They've gone through a lot. And these are people that were born between 1910 and 1920 and who lived through World War II. Some of them fought in World War II. So their lives haven't been easy. And yet, not one of them had a negative attitude about life.
One of the things I found was that the people I photographed all have a really pretty good sense of humor. And when I was photographing Jim Hands, he mentioned to me that I was taking too many pictures of him where he was smiling and laughing, and he said, really, I'm a very kind of serious, grumpy guy, and people in my community won't recognize me. And I said, oh, I heard that you were the toast of the town. And he goes, well, yeah, maybe, burnt toast. And it was, and I just had to set my camera down for a second and just laugh at that one.
One of my favorite interviews was with Bob and Rose Mather. And they're young in this group because they're only in their early 90s. And that's another thing that's funny is the perspective that people have. You know, Bob and Rose have been together all their lives, and they still hold hands all the time. And they go out and perform. They both play the piano together at nursing homes. They joke about how we go out and play for the old folks when actually most of those people in nursing home are younger than them.
In talking to Rose and Bob Mather, I saw them just a couple of days ago, and we were having a conversation. In the course of it, she said to me, life is exciting, and we still think life is exciting.
That has got to be the secret. It has to be that. It has to be, you know, there's an really old saw about how age is all in your mind. And after interviewing so many of these people, I really think there's some truth to that.